Hey everybody, it's Mike and Denise. Welcome. We usually do our walk videos about review and comment on stuff that we're reading, but today I wanted to do a video that we're just kind of doing on our own, and it's actually in response to some of the controversy that was generated from the last video we put out, which talked about eating Beyond and Impossible meat and if it's good for humans or not, right? And that kind of sparked some controversy, basically saying, of course, it's better than eating animal products. And, you know, we're a vegan, our organization, aPlantBasedDiet.org, is a vegan organization. So, of course, we don't want to hurt animals either. But the focus of the article was, is it actually good for you as a human? It wasn't intended to think that if it's not, that you go ahead and eat animal products. Although it brings us some interesting points. And this is what I wanted to talk about this video. This video is entitled Veganism and Sustainability, and talking about the points of veganism and sustainability, which I believe are health, human health, your finances, and also the environment. Okay, and then along with those, we want to talk about animals, the concept of balance, and the concept of ex-vegans, and how all this is related. And I think that it is. So, actually, are we going to turn right or left? I'm not even sure where we're turning here. Hold on a second, let me kind of take a look at where we're going. I think we're going to turn left and turn right, a quick left right. I think that's what we're going to do.
We're out on a trail that we've never been on.
Yeah, we're exploring. So we're helping with our mental faculties, right, to kind of figure this stuff out. Yeah, we turn left, cross the river, and then we turn right is what we do. All right, so let's get into it. Of course, veganism is the idea that you don't harm animals or do as little harm as possible to animals. And as we know, in the year 2023, it is impossible to completely remove all harm from animals. But you can do a hell of a lot more than almost everybody's doing in general society already. Okay? Right. I think we know that. So, this kind of touches on why we started this video, or I wanted to talk about it. It's because of the Impossible meat and the Beyond meat, because you're not hurting animals. Nowadays, you don't have to have animal meat, right? You can have those things, Beyond and Impossible burgers. But, and I think this is where the controversy comes in, are these things sustainable? Like, can you be sustainable as a human by eating these things as part of your regular diet, okay? And the reality is that I believe, no, it's not sustainable. That's why I believe these are transition products. I think if you were to make these a staple of your diet, you would die an early death, and you would die and you would suffer. And if your whole goal is to prevent harming of animals and to get the word out to people, you won't be able to do that. So from those perspectives, it's not sustainable. This is from a human health perspective anyway. I don't know what, have you thought about this, Denise?
No, like we said, I think the Beyond and Impossible stuff is transitional. It's not for everyday use. It's fine as a treat every now and then. Or if you're going to a potluck and you want to surprise your non-vegan friends with something that tastes just as delicious, you can put Impossible meat in it. But I wouldn't eat it every day, just knowing that it has coconut oil in it.
Yeah, it's like the worst. All oils are bad, okay? In my book, Live to 150 at liveto150.org, I have a chapter called Oil is Garbage. And coconut oil is the worst with the high levels of saturated fat in there. So from a health perspective, I believe that what defines something as sustainable or not sustainable has to do with whether you are improving as time goes on or getting worse as time goes on from a health perspective, because nobody stays the same. So in that regard, these fake meat products, faux meat, whatever, of course it's good for the animals, but it's unsustainable for you as a human. That's the problem, okay? Yeah. It's not sustainable. You're gonna keep getting worse, your health, okay? And even if you do see some kind of improvement, it's not gonna last, or you're gonna stop improving at some point. You're gonna stop, sorry, I'm moving my glasses around. You're gonna stop benefiting. The benefits are gonna end.
Yeah, but is it less harmful than eating animal products? I think, yeah, because animal products have the heme iron and the cholesterol, and those animals have been tortured when they die. Who knows if when you eat them, you become part of their tortured soul. I just
Yes, from that perspective, yes.
Yeah.
But then from a nutritional perspective, I'll also say that even though some of the bad stuff's gone, some of the good stuff isn't there, like complete proteins, okay? Like lots of the vitamins and minerals that are actually in the animal meat are not in there because it's just whatever they happen to put in to make it taste similar. It's not going to be, the good stuff is not all there.
Yeah, and if they're fortifying it with vitamins and...
It's like a supplement then.
Yeah, fake
all the negatives
fiber,
of eating
like,
supplements.
Like Metamucil, and that stuff isn't good for you anyway.
And some of them have heme iron added to it, right? Like you mentioned heme iron, some of them. So that's, yeah. So let's talk about that. Again, I would like to hear your thoughts on this. But my thoughts are that if something is harming your health, even if it's slowly but surely, it's not sustainable from a health perspective. So that's where I would put these things in here. So I'd say that if you intend to be effective, and if you think that this is an important thing, like if you think that you need to get this veganism out, that nothing's more important, then you need to do this in a sustainable fashion. All right, that's what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, we replace our meat with just veggies. Nobody says you have to replace it with Impossible burgers.
Right, so we do that, but not everybody does that. And some people get stuck in the fact of, well, Mike, it sounds like you're saying people should eat animal products. And no, I'm not saying that. And our organization is completely vegan. But I'll get to the whole ex-vegan thing and the conundrum that's happening with that. And that's another reason why I'm making this video. But I think we can all agree, and let me know in the comments, that if you're going to be effective as a vegan going forward, for as long as you can be alive, realistically, you're going to have to do this in a sustainable way from a health perspective, and that's going to mean you need to eat health-improving foods, health-improving vegan foods. And if you don't know what those are, go to chapter 42 in my book, Live to 150. Actually, we probably want to slow down unless you're going to be passing these folks. Okay, so that's from health. We might come back to health in a minute. Let's talk about finances. Another thing that I see in the vegan movement, and we see this in our own work with the nonprofit, is whether something is financially sustainable. Okay, now of course, your own life, your own personal life needs to be financially sustainable, or otherwise you won't be able to continue. Some people are okay with renting a room from somebody for the rest of their lives, I guess. Some people can't barely even do that. Okay, and that's when it gets into, there's maybe an issue here with financial stability or sustainability. If you can't even afford to do that on an ongoing basis, okay? You need to look at that, because you can't be effective at whatever it is you're doing, whether it's veganism or not. Some people might say, oh, well, veganism's counterculture, so I don't really need to worry about money. I'm just saying, this is what I see. I see this out there, okay? So I'll survive, and because veganism is more important than money. But the thing is, if you can't reliably pay your bills, or even have a prayer, or even an opportunity of getting out of the rat race so that you can dedicate more time to veganism, you're not going to be anywhere near as effective as you could be. And you may be completely not effective at all because you're just trying to keep your head above water financially your whole life, with a bare minimum. I don't know if you ever thought about this, Denise, or not. That's one thing. That's personal finances.
I'm in the rat race, but I can hold my head above water.
Right, but but I see others. Now, from another perspective, our nonprofit, we do events. And you and I have talked about this, Denise, what makes our events sustainable, or anything we do? Well, for us, we're all volunteers, so we need to at least break even on everything we're doing. And yes, we need to charge people money for things. Yes, we accept donations, and thank you for giving them. They're tax deductible. We're a 501c3. But if our efforts were producing a money-losing thing ongoing, then I'm saying that's also not sustainable. And how are we going to be effective for the animals and whatnot? Unless we get to a certain point where all of a sudden we know, or we have a relatively high certainty that even though we're losing money right now, in about 3 to 4 years, we're going to start breaking even and making money. That's okay, right? I mean, that's what Tesla used to do, actually. Some people said Tesla will never make money. This is just a few years ago. That there was this Elon's project for humanity or whatever. But now they're like the most profitable manufacturer because they cut all their costs. They were busy cutting their costs, gaining market share, doing everything they could, putting all their money into R&D. Now, if you're doing that as a vegan activist, then that's great. But if you're not, you might need to think twice about what you're doing, because you need to be sustainable going forward. We don't want to hear in 4 years that you just can't afford losing all this money or not bringing any money in anymore and you need to quit. Okay, that's not sustainable either. This is the whole idea of sustainability. Have you ever thought about this? I mean, we have regular jobs. We have others. We have independent sources of income generation that don't depend on the vegan movement, okay? So we're outside of that, but at the same point, we still cannot afford to be dumping money ongoing into our efforts if they are money losers, right?
Yeah, people ask us all the time, is this all you do? When we're at Veg Fest, because it looks like a lot of fun. And we're like, no, this is just our part-time fun work.
Don't quit your day job.
I can't quit my day job.
Yeah. So, okay, then let's talk about the environment. This also gets back to these Impossible Burgers, Beyond Meat, whatnot. Even if something's vegan and you say, oh, it's so much better for the animals. Well, I've heard this argument, especially on LinkedIn, okay? I see a lot of intelligent people over there on LinkedIn talking about these concepts, talking about plant-based. I see a lot of people talking about, the other competing facet right now is local. Some people want local no matter what, and they want organic and chemical free. And they're like, hey, look, if I have a choice between local and organic and chemical free versus vegan junk food, okay, which is what a lot of the events are, that's what the Impossible Meat, Beyond Meat is, right? Well, they're like, well, I'm going to choose a local because it's so much better for the environment. And yes, we know that animal agriculture is one of the worst things for the environment. We do. But almost so close behind in a different facet is dumping chemicals all over our lands and having them run into all of our water, okay? Which may or may not have anything to do with animal agriculture. It can be done in a purely vegan environment, and it is if you're not eating organic food. That's the problem, right? So is that even sustainable from an environmental perspective, eating non-organic food? Probably not, okay? Because if you're going to be causing, you say you're saving all this animal, agricultural, environmental destruction, but you're causing all this environmental destruction by dumping chemicals or paying some farmers to dump chemicals for their plants all over the earth, right, basically.
Insecticides and herbicides are being run off into the water, even for crops of fruits and vegetables, and that causes algae blooms in the ocean. It causes the fish to die, so that destroys the planet too.
So is this sustainable? Is non-organic food sustainable? Actually, I'd argue to say that not only is non-organic food unsustainable, but I'd say that unless you're doing regenerative agriculture, the plant production is also unsustainable. So we need to think about this not just a couple steps in front of us, but we need to think about this a little further down, because if people recognize, this is what I'm getting at with this whole video, if people get into this and they're like, okay, I'm doing this, doing it, feel good, animals are being protected, oh shit, this is not sustainable. It's not sustainable for my health, it's not sustainable for my finances, and it's not sustainable because I'm destroying the environment in a way that is just not sustainable. If people have these realizations, what's going to happen is, and I've seen it happen, they quit veganism, okay? And they have a pretty good reason for quitting veganism, especially when I see a lot of vegans out there that are vehemently just saying, well, just go ahead and do this. At least you're not killing animals, Well, you can say that, and we should say that just for a moment in time, but we need to continue the education to people so that they realize that they need to continue to learn. Otherwise, they will soon learn that this is not sustainable, and they'll quit. Does this make sense?
Yeah, but we usually hear people say that they quit veganism because they didn't feel well.
Okay, so that's the health, right? Unsustainable from a health perspective. They're eating food-like products, like I talk about in my book, right?
Yeah, it's sustainable in their mind, but they didn't feel that their health was being optimized.
Right. Well, it's not. If you're most people, let's put it this way, if you're vegan, you need to hear this if you don't know this. Most people eat food-like products almost all day long.
Like 99% of what you see in your grocery store.
They don't eat food.
Food-like product.
And when I say food or food-like products, I mean, what does your body recognize as food? All right? If your body doesn't recognize it as food and recognizes it as said as a food-like product, it's going to express disease. And is that sustainable? No. That's the problem, okay? This is why the education needs to continue. Don't just think it's okay to tell people to eat vegan junk food. Oh, they're so much better off, because they're going to end up quitting. I've seen this too many times recently. They end up quitting the movement. They're not doing well. They say they're feeling better by eating the animal products, and they probably are, because they were eating crap as a vegan.
Vegans can get high cholesterol and heart disease just like non-vegans.
Yes. And that's not sustainable. So it comes back to the concept of sustainability. Okay, like I said, not only is that's just the health pillar. The other pillar is the financial pillar. You've got to not feel like you are sacrificing your entire financial future to be a vegan. Because if you are, or you're flushing all your money down the toilet continuously, even if you can afford it, okay?
If you paying the vegan tax.
Or in whatever way it is that you're paying it, and you don't have some kind of plan where, okay, all of a sudden this is going to start making me money. Like I said, like I gave the example of Tesla, and it worked for them. Okay, and actually there was a lot of haters and doubters on that. But if you've got a rock solid plan and you know you're going to come out of it, great. If you don't, I'm very concerned, because it's not sustainable. That type of behavior is not sustainable. And then the environment. The environment has to be chemical free. In addition to, if we're all as vegans concerned that animal agriculture is destroying the environment by polluting it, we cannot pollute it with chemicals either, because that's also hurting animals. It's not just like you're hurting other humans or you're hurting a tree or something. You're hurting other animals too, right? Like Dr. Tuttle says, the birds and the bees. Yeah. It's not even a vegan concept to eat non-organic food.
Right, those bees are affected by the pesticides. I think that's why they've been disappearing.
Yes. Okay, so let's wrap this up and let's kind of say, well, of course, vegan is for the animals. I think it's clear now more than ever, vegan is for the animals. But you need to practice sustainable veganism. You do, in your health, in your finances, and in protecting the environment. If you don't, and you are a person of conscience, sooner or later your conscience is going to get to you, even if feeling like crap in terms of your health doesn't get to you first. Either way, your conscience will get to you, right? You're gonna recognize it's not sustainable. So balance is the key. The concept of balance is always the key, but you've got to keep learning. And again, think about this idea I was talking about with ex-vegans. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about ex-vegans. Do you know any ex-vegans? Why did they stop being vegan? Do we know any ex-vegans? I know some.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, there's some in my family.
Yeah, and the people that I know, they've generally had issues with their health. They've had health problems, and a lot of them say, oh, it's a mystery. I don't know why. I don't know why I had this health problem, but I do feel so much better eating all these animal products that are local and farmed regeneratively and have all the proper nutrition. That's what they say. That's the general gist that I hear, okay? And they have a lot of points. Like I said, it's not like we're living in a vacuum. You can't just say, just try to stop harming animals, because it's impossible. You're gonna run over ants and all kinds of other shit with your car, okay, that you're not gonna be able to stop. Nobody's perfect. You've got to do the best you can, but you've got to do it in a sustainable fashion. And that is the idea that I'm hopefully planting a seed in your head here about sustainable veganism. Because if it's not sustainable, I don't care what it is, you're not going to continue with it. Right?
Yeah.
Do you have any other stuff you want to add?
No.
No? And hopefully we're not lost, because we've never been on this trail before. And also, thank you for watching us. Thank you for watching us while we're walking and not sitting, because sitting is also not sustainable. Sitting is the new smoking. We have to sit when we drive a car, right? At least right now in 2023. But any other time, you don't have to sit. That's optional. I know that everyone's always done it. But, you know, we also, if you go back and look at one of the major reasons why the old standard American or animal product diet isn't sustainable is because it's the cave person diet. Cave people used to move around all the time. They didn't really sit, right? They were always going out, doing stuff. They had to survive on a daily basis. Everybody here sits in the air conditioning in a seat watching their screen all day and still eats that active diet. It's one of the reasons why that diet is not sustainable. One of the reasons. So thank you for watching us. Hopefully you guys are walking, and hopefully people that are walking or moving around making videos will become more commonplace. And if you don't understand why, get my free book, Live to 150, at liveto150.org. What do you think? Do you think all these people are going to adopt these new methods of doing stuff?
I hope so. I hope they go stay at our Airbnb in our eco village, La Casa Mas Alta.
Oh yeah, lacasamasalta.org.
You can see how to grow your own food, all regeneratively with zero chemicals.
And you have to walk up to the house. It's up the mountain. It's halfway up the mountain, walking up.
Yeah.
You're going to get a workout on your legs every day. It's purposeful exercise, which is what you need.
Yeah.
And if you didn't get that, lacasamasalta.org, just go to aPlantBasedDiet.org. Click on Eco Villages, Intentional Communities, and you'll see it. It's in there. It's very, very inexpensive. Just got to plan a day of travel on each end to get there. That's all.
Yeah.
And that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Look forward to reading your comments, and give us a thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you don't do that already, and share this video with other vegans you know. I would be very interested to hear what other vegans, because remember, I hear too much that, oh, vegan is just about the animals. It's just about not harming animals. But not if it's not sustainable, we're never going to have a positive impact on people. That's the concept in this video. Sustainability is what you are doing sustainable.
Yeah.
Bye.
Adios.